Good morning. We have arrived at Thursday, our new day for chair yoga. So doing these gentle types of yoga in the morning, Wednesday our gentle morning yoga, and Thursday our chair yoga, used to be Monday, is a really nice way to get the day started. So, I used to hate doing yoga in the morning because I always wanted extension. I always wanted to deeply stretch and get into my yoga routine that way. And I also found in the mornings that my body's just not as strong because it's still waking up. We all have our own circadian rhythm. We all have our own ways that we feel during certain times of the day. And my strongest time of the day is around 5 p.m. So I always found that if I wanted to, really get into my yoga, the strength of it and deep flexibility and extension, that I needed to do that stuff in the evening and not in the morning. In the morning, it would kind of turn me against yoga, maybe not want to do it. But now that I'm doing chair yoga 1 day a week and the gentle routine 1 day a week, I find that I'm really embracing morning yoga this way, because what else do we get to do when we do yoga? We do deep breathing and we fill the body with oxygen. And it's really a delightful way to start the day, but it's also a really nice way to support your body, to support your immune health, and to support recovery from injuries, to support conditions that you may have, and it can get you started on the road to wellness. So I invite you to join me and Noonie at the chair. Oh, one more thing. I have the mudra that is inspiring us this week is the Purna Svara Mudra. This is also called the gesture, or the core quality is complete breathing. It is the gesture of the complete breath. So this mudra allows us, or encourages us rather, to take big, deep, full breaths. So this morning's routine, what you will experience is that I will be spending a lot of time talking about the quality of the breath, nice, deep, full yogic breaths, but also linking breath to movement. And that is what makes yoga unique compared to other forms of movement, is that we connect, we integrate the breath with any form of movement. For without that breath, without that prana, that life force, we don't really have yoga. So to take this gesture, you would place your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky kind of on the top and alongside your thumb. And you would take your fingers and your index fingers and turn them out. And this is a gesture that you can take anytime you need to remind yourself to get deeply into the breath. So let's sit way back in our chairs initially. Sit up nice and tall. And if you were sitting on the floor, I might invite you to sit in Sukhasana, but we're sitting on our chair. So what I want you to remember about chair yoga is, one, you need to have a good solid chair. I have a dining room chair, but you can also use a folding chair. Folding chairs are actually quite solid. They don't move a whole lot, and they've got nice rubber feet. You need to sit in a chair that enables your thighs to be parallel to the ground. So this chair doesn't really allow that for me because it's a little tall for me. So I use yoga blocks on the floor to give me the Frankenstein foot look when I bring yoga to you from my chair. And it needs to be a chair that, if we're going to do any standing poses against it, that it's going to be up to the task of supporting you. So taking this mudra, I invite you to close your eyes. Draw the crown of your head up nice and tall to the ceiling, which by extension lifts up the heart center and allows your shoulders to drop down and start to move on to the back. Drawing your elbows close to the ribs, maintaining this gesture with your fingers. Start to breathe in and out of your nose. Nice long inhales and exhales. As you inhale, expand your belly. And as you exhale, draw it back in. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale, continue to keep the head and the heart lifted. Inhale, expand the belly. And exhale, drawing it back in. Inhale, expand. And exhale, draw the belly back in. On your next 3 inhales, I would like you to expand the lower and middle ribs at the same time that you expand the lower belly. You expand the lower belly and then widen it into the rib cage. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, expand your belly and expand your lower and middle ribs. And exhale, draw the ribs in, bring the belly back. Inhale, expanding the belly and the ribs. And exhale, drawing the belly back, drawing the ribs in. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, bring it into your upper ribs up near your armpits and across your chest. Inhale, expanding the belly and the full rib cage. And exhale, drawing the rib cage in, drawing the belly in. Inhale. Exhale, keeping the crown and the heart lifted. Draw the rib cages in. Draw the belly in. Inhale, expand the belly and all of the ribs. And exhale, drawing the ribs in, drawing the belly in. For our next 3 breaths, I'd like you to move up to the shoulders, through the neck, and into the face. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. And for our final 3 inhales and exhales, I would like you to bring your breath from the base of the lungs all the way to the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one final inhale. Inhale. And fully exhale, releasing it all. So I just noticed looking at the camera that my computer balanced precariously on top of a music stand makes for a little bit of crookedness. So I would like you to observe how the breath moved in and out of the body. and how, in order to expand your lungs and to expand your collarbones and your upper chest, you had to expand into your back body. So one of the things that we do in yoga, which is sometimes difficult to describe, is that we are taking up space through expansion. We are creating length, we are creating expansion, and thereby we are taking up space. And so you may often hear me cue you to breathe into your back, to expand the back. Another instructor that I have taken classes from says, poof the kidneys. So these are all visual techniques that we will use to get you to really use the breath in the biggest and most expansive way that you can. Let's initiate movement now using the breath. So I want you to start your inhale, and then we're going to bring our hands overhead. So inhale and bring your hands up. On your exhale, continue your length in your spine as you bring your hands down. Inhale, hands out and up. Exhale, hands out and down. Inhale, hands out and up. And exhale your hands out and down. Let's take another inhale, hands up. And on your exhale, swan dive forward, placing your torso across your legs. Keep your heart lifted as you drop your hands to your feet, and then drop your crown, but keep your heart lifted right now. We're just warming up the spine. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, bring hands to heart center in prayer. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, placing your torso across your legs. Again, be aware that you're just opening up the spine, so you may feel tension through the lower back, which you can alleviate by lifting up the heart center, lifting up the shoulders. Allow your crown to drop. On your inhale, place your hands against your shins, drawing the crown of your head forward as you draw your shoulders back. Exhale, dropping your crown. Inhale, rising back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale the hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Notice we're not going between them yet. Drop your crown, drop your hands. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So why am I emphasizing the lower spine? Well, this time of the day, I am super stiff. And many of us women, and I'm sure men too, but particularly women, a lot of us tend to have laxity of our sacroiliac joints in the lumbar area of the back. Some people also have prior back injuries. I don't have any back injuries, but I have laxity of joints. And if I start off the day overextending those joints too quickly, my sacrum will move slightly out of alignment, and I will feel discomfort all day, perhaps in just one of the joints, perhaps in both of them, perhaps it will reveal itself as tingling and sciatica in my legs, but it's avoidable. So when we do yoga, always know that if you feel involvement of the lower back, the answer is to back out of the pose, draw the heart center up, and then go at it again with the breath, more slowly, more purposefully, more mindfully. Let's do another forward fold. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, hands out to the side, swan dive forward over the legs. Drop the hands, drop the crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rising your hands up. Exhale, hands to heart center. I'm already feeling like my back is warming up. So let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale the hands down. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, dropping your torso on top of your legs, hands to your feet, drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine, exhaling your head down. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart prayer. Let's do some more spinal undulating as we go through some cow-cats while we're sitting in the chair. So I'm separating my blocks a little bit so that my feet have room, giving my sacrum some room to float down, and allowing my sits bones to remain in firm contact with the chair. So placing your hands on top of your thighs, inhale into cow, drawing your heart center forward, arching your lower back, and allowing your sits bones to float to the back of the chair. You can lift up your heart center, open up the throat. On your exhale, curl your spine backwards towards your chair into a letter C like a scared cat. Rolling the shoulders forward, tilting your pelvis bowl. On your inhale, draw your heart center through as you arch your back and float your sits bones back, opening up the throat. Exhale, drawing the back towards the back of the chair, curling into that letter C. Inhale, draw your heart center through, bring your shoulders down your back with purpose and intent, floating your sits bones back. Exhale, curling backwards into that letter C. And let's do one final one of those. Inhale the heart center forward, floating your sits bones back. And exhale into that letter C. And then rise up. So a little thing about cow-cat poses. These are common during floor yoga, chair yoga, gentle yoga, vinyasa flow, power, nice way to warm up the spine. And one of the things that I used to experience doing cow-cat was I would kind of crush my trachea doing it in overextension. Well, I realized one of the reasons why is because I was focusing on arching the back, but not focusing on engaging the muscles of the back. So when we do this pose, you always want to draw your shoulders together and back on your spine as you arch your belly forward, which now activates all those muscles of the spine. And then when you go to open up the throat, that is just an extension of what the back is already doing. And now I don't crush the trachea. So I realized before that what I was doing was I was creating too much movement in the head, which was causing me to affect my voice, and then I would cough in the middle of classical teaching. So we learn these little tricks about the mechanics of our body and how to move effectively in the body and strengthen the body in what seemed like the simplest of poses. So I'm going to get out of my chair now. And look, the dog brought a bone. After I put the bone in this room, she brought it to me. So what I'm going to do now is turn my chair so that the seat of my chair is facing me. And I'm going to keep moving the chair around in ways that help you, the audience, watching this video. So I'm going to put my blocks aside because I don't need them other than when I'm sitting in the chair. When we do gentle yoga, I like to keep blocks nearby to facilitate alignment in poses that we move through. I like to start a lot of our routines doing sun salutations. And the nice thing about sun salutations is they're a wonderful way to warm up the whole body, but also they really can be modified for anybody's needs. So I'm going to show you two different modifications we can do using the chair for yoga. So I have one student who has bad knees, and my advice to her has been never get down on the knees. So I'm going to show you ways that we can modify chair yoga to make it work well for her. Inhale your hands up. And then exhale, swan dive forward. Bend your legs slightly since we're still warming up the spine. Place your hands on the chair and then place your forehead on the chair. If this height is too low for you, you can always turn the chair around. Inhale into a flat spine, drawing the crown of the head forward. On your exhale, drop your head and then take your right foot back in a lunge. So this is a nice deep lunge, but if it's too hard to be in such a deep lunge, you can just shorten it. That's why using the back of the chair might be helpful for you if you find you can't do a deep lunge. So you could just do this. What's more important to me is not how deep you are in that lunge, but can you get lift in your heart center and rise up, which then helps open up the hips. But I'm going to keep it that way for me and for those of you at home that would like a deeper bend. So take the right foot back. For me, a nice wide lunge. Inhale the heart center up, drawing the shoulders down the back, lifting up the heart, lifting up the crown of the head. Take a nice inhale. On your exhale, plant your hands firmly on the chair. Move your left foot back to join the right as we move into a downward dog facilitated by the chair. Now, this is kind of our first dog of the day. So I would really like you not to overextend. Just focus on widening your collarbones and allowing your heart center to descend between. Take a nice inhale. On your exhale, bring your right foot forward. Organize your feet in the way that works for you. Keeping your hands on the chair. Inhale your heart center up. And then on your exhale, bring your left foot to join the right. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. And then taking your hands out to the side, inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer. We're going to do the other side now. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, placing your hands on the chair, forehead on the chair. Inhale into a flat spine, drawing the crown of the head forward. Exhale, take your left foot back. And then rise up your heart center. Rise up your crown of your head. Exhale, placing your hands on the chair, bring your right foot back to join the left, moving into that modified dog. Again, don't overextend your lower spine, so don't push too far backwards. Just floating your sits bones up to the sky as you open up the chest. Take a nice inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left foot forward. And then on your inhale, lift up your heart center, drawing your shoulders back and down. And then on your exhale, bring the right foot forward. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. And then inhale, rising all the way up, hands together at the top, exhaling them down to the heart center in prayer. We're going to do that again. The next variation I'm going to show you is dropping your knees to the floor. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, placing your hands on the chair, forehead to the chair. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, take your right foot back, dropping your knee if you choose. Inhale, rise up the heart center as you move your hips forward slightly. Exhale, let's try the variation where we do puppy dog using the chair. So standing on our knees, reach forward, allowing our heart center to kind of fall between our expanded shoulder blades, drawing our expanded collarbones, drawing our shoulder blades together on the back, our forehead to rest, our forearms rested on the chair. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring your right foot forward, keeping that low lunge. Inhale, lift up your heart center, drawing your shoulders down your back. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, tuck your left toes and bring your left foot to join the right. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a nice inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, placing your hands on the chair, forehead to the chair. Inhale into a flat spine, drawing the crown of the head forward. Exhale down and take our left foot back, dropping our left knee to the floor. Inhale the heart center up as you draw your hips forward and draw your shoulders down. Exhale, bring the right knee back to join the left. Slide your hands forward into this modified puppy dog pose, allowing the collarbones to open, drawing the shoulder blades together. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, take our left foot forward. Sorry, my hair is tickling my nose. Inhale, rise up your heart center as you bring your right hip forward. And then on your exhale, tuck your toes. Bring your right foot to join the left. Inhale into a flat spine. And then exhale, dropping the forehead to the chair. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer. So another thing that I want you to be fully aware of is that when we do this opening of the spine and we open up the front of the hips, we increase a little bit of the arch in our back. And the positive to that is that it helps those of us that might have some laxity of those joints in the lower back. It helps really connect the sacrum better and help it realign. Now we're going to do lifted, so higher lunges with a twist using the chair. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, forehead to the chair. Inhale, drawing the crown of the head forward into a flat spine. Exhale, take our right leg back into that high lunge. Drop your knee. Take a nice inhale. I said we were going to do high lunge, but I changed my mind. Take your right hand back to your knee or to your right hip and just turn your body to the left. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, place your right hand to the chair. Take your left foot back to join the right, moving into downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bring your right foot forward, dropping your left knee. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, backing off a little bit. Take your left hand to your right hip. Keep your right hand on the chair and turn to the left. Take a nice inhale. And exhale, return to neutral. Move back into downward facing dog. Take an inhale and an exhale. And I realized that I missed a step. That's okay. Go ahead and walk up to the front of the chair. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands down. Now we're going to do those twists using a high lunge. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive. Place your hands on the chair, drop your forehead to the chair. Inhale into a flat spine, drawing the crown of your head forward. Exhale, take your right foot back. Going into that high lunge, take your left hand to your left hip and then twist to the left now. It's a different sensation when you're in the high lunge. You'll feel it all on the outside. And you'll feel the strengthening of the pelvis at the same time. And you'll feel a nice opening on the front of the right hip. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, take your hand, place it on the chair, move your left foot back to join the right in downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale. And an exhale. On your inhale, bring your right foot forward. Organize your legs on your exhale. Inhale, lift up your heart center. Exhale, take your right hand to your right hip and now twist to your right. Again, you're feeling a nice stretch along the front of your left hip and perhaps a stretch along the back of your right hip. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, return your hand back to the chair, moving back into that downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale. And exhale. Now you may be finding you have more extension again. Let's deepen a little bit more in our twist. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Bring your right foot forward. We're going to start with that side again. On your exhale, take your right hand to your hip. Twist to the left. And maybe lower down on your chair, on your forearm. And lift up your right hand. And feel that sensation. Continue to engage the twist by drawing your belly button in as you continue to move your body so that it's facing the right side, the wall behind you. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, take your right hand to the chair, lift up your left hand. Move your right foot back to join your left and move into that downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale and exhale. Find some extension if it's available to you, but be careful of your lower back. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left foot forward. Organize your legs and rise up your heart center. On your exhale, take your left hand to your left hip. Twist toward the left, drop your elbow to the chair, and then lift up your hand. Now again, feel that sensation. You are twisting on this side. And what does that feel like to the outside of your left hip? Continue to engage the twist by drawing your belly button in and deepening into the twist as you go to the left. Take a nice inhale. And then on the exhale, drop your left hand to the chair, right hand, and then bring your foot back to join your right in downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale and exhale. Inhale, rise up and walk up to the front of the chair. So now I'm going to turn the chair. I'm going to use it for a downward dog. A warrior two sequence. Using movement with the breath, we're going to go in and out of warrior two and do some movement with the upper body in warrior two. So using the back of your chair casually for support. I'm not quite arm distance from my chair. I'm going to separate my legs. I'm going to turn my right toes towards the chair, leave my left toes what would be parallel to the back of the mat. I'm going to lift up and out of my hips. So right now I haven't done anything with my knees yet. But what I want you to do is draw that belly button up underneath the ribs. Lift up as if you're creating space right above your hip bones, drawing the shoulders down, lifting up the heart center, lifting up the crown. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, bend your right knee towards the chair, drawing the right knee backwards so that the kneecap is traveling towards your baby toes. Continue that lift and take your left arm out to the side. Take a nice inhale. Deepen into that a little bit more, expanding this area here of the inner thigh, opening up the pelvis. Take a nice inhale. Exhale again. Notice the engagement of my arch. It's lifted off the floor. Take a nice inhale. Exhale again. Inhale, straighten your leg, lifting up, and then exhale, bend your leg, keeping that lift. Inhale, straighten your leg, and then exhale, bend the leg. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the leg. Inhale, straighten the leg, and let's move into triangle. So to move into triangle, we just keep our hips stationary as we move our torso towards the chair. And then bring our arm up overhead alongside it. While you're in this pose, you'll feel a nice long stretch along your left side, but also draw your left shoulder back in space as if you're pressing against the wall behind you, and have your kneecap rotating so that it's facing the ceiling. So you might feel a little strange involvement in your right shoulder. If you need to, drop your right hand down on the chair. How about that? Take a nice inhale. Exhale, draw that left shoulder back in alignment with your hips. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. And one more inhale. Exhale, turn your left hand towards the chair. Turn your right hand towards the chair. Bend your leg, go back into that nice lunge. Go as deeply as you choose. And then on your exhale, rise up. I'm going to switch the orientation on my chair so that you can see it on the other side. I could show you the back side. Maybe I'll do that next week. Okay, so standing, just holding onto our chair. I'm facing you, the audience, so I would be facing the long side of my mat, the long side of my round mat. First, I'm going to start off by separating my legs, lifting up and out. Remember, creating like a space above those hip bones, drawing the belly button in, lifting up the heart center, drawing the shoulders down. And then I turn my toes towards the chair, keep my foot, my right foot, parallel to what would be the back of the mat. And again, I continue to lift so that we're not sinking into the hips one way or the other. And notice I widen my stance a little because that works for me. If you need a shortened stance, then you keep that shortened stance. If you need a wider stance, then you take that wider stance. Take your right hand out to the side and then exhale. Bend your left knee deeply. And so what we do want is for the kneecap to be stacked right on top of the ankle. And that in some way dictates your stance because I'm able to go fairly deep into this warrior two position of my legs. So if you're not able to go deeply, that's okay. You don't have to worry as much about the wider stance. So moving into this nice wide stance, I'm just focusing right now on drawing open my pelvis area, drawing my left kneecap towards my pinky toe. And I'm inhaling. And I'm exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Fully exhale. And then inhale. Straighten out that left leg. Take a moment for organization. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, bend your left knee deeply. Inhale, straighten out the leg. Exhale, bend your left knee. Inhale, straighten out the right leg. Exhale, bend your left knee. And then on your inhale, go back into those triangle legs and let's move into triangle. So tilting our body towards the chair, keeping our hips stationary. And if you need to drop your hand down, then go right on ahead and do that. Draw your shoulder back in alignment with the wall behind you, in alignment with your hips rather, like you're pressing against the wall behind you. Rotate your left thigh so that your kneecap is facing the ceiling. And it's funny, you may feel more open on one side versus the other. This side, I don't feel as much of a stretch. I don't know if it's my position, if it's where I've placed my arm. I think that might have been it. My arm was kind of behind me before. Now I have the space to widen my collarbones, drawing my right shoulder back. Take another 2 breaths. Take one more inhale, and then exhale. Place your right hand on the chair, left hand on the chair. Bend your left leg deeply. Let's move back into that lunge like we were in before. Lifting up our heart center. And then exhale, rise up. So now I'm going to return my chair to the center because that was the only portion of the routine in which I intended to have us standing. So as you can see, you can use the chair for standing poses in really wonderful ways. Oh, my neighbor started his car yesterday when I was doing gentle yoga with you all. It frightened me. I said, oh my gosh, somebody's breaking in. He's got a very loud truck. He's borrowing his brother's truck and it's big. Okay. All right. So sitting back in our chair pose. So we've done some hip openers. We've done some standing twists. And now it's time to spend a little bit of time on our hips as we sit in the chair. So I invite you to move forward in your chair. Sitting up nice and tall. Take your right ankle and press it over your left knee. Now, initially what I want you to do is just sit up nice and tall. You may feel tension in your right hip as it begins to gradually open up on its own. And what I want you to know is that you can't force anything. You can't force this knee down. All you're going to do by doing that is damage, pain. In yoga, I don't want you to feel pain. I want you to feel good. So one way that we protect our knee, because you may feel tension in the knee if you don't have good external rotation, outside rotation of the hip, flex your foot and draw your toes back towards your knee. When you do that, it takes tension out of the knee. You can always support your knee with your hand. If you find it can't drop very low, you can just hold your hand underneath it. That's totally acceptable. And you can support your ankle if you need to as well. But what I like to do is just sit up nice and tall, create space for that hip to begin to open up. And then after a little while, I start to move my heart center forward. So let's inhale. Exhale, create length, draw the heart center up, draw the crown up. Inhale. And exhale. Take a nice inhale. And then your exhale, start to hinge forward, drawing your heart center forward. So not focusing on rounding the back and curling down, not focusing on attempting to bridge the gap between the chest and the leg. We're just focusing on drawing the heart center forward. And what I want you to find are your edges. What is the edge where you feel like you're having a beneficial stretch? Because we can't increase our extension and our flexibility without pushing on those edges a little bit. But what we don't want is injury, and we want to move slowly, purposefully, and with the breath. So I've reached the point where I say to myself, I have approached my edge. And what I'm going to do is just stay here in this position and breathe fully in and out. And I find with these kinds of stretches that rather than focus intensely on trying to move into a certain degree of the pose, which takes us into the area of competition, we don't want to compete with ourselves or others. So we're living in the moment. We're accepting the body as it is right now. What does it have to offer to us? And can we enjoy this moment? So rather than focusing on my goal, whatever that could be, which is really, it's just a random number, I'm focusing on the feel. Do I have a nice, satisfying stretch along the back of this hip? Is my back involved? If it isn't, then maybe I can stay in this pose or even deepen. But if the back feels tension, I might lift up my heart center and even back out of the pose a little bit, honoring what my body says it needs at that moment in time. And maybe now is a good time to tell stories, to joke around with people, to chitter chatter. If you're doing a home practice of yoga, maybe this is the time for there to be music on and enjoying that music. But either way, just allow the body to naturally open. This is something you'll see in the practice of yin yoga and in Sarupta yoga, where you just allow the body to naturally open using gravity to draw you down. So you may have noticed that my chest has gotten much closer to my leg in this time that we've been talking. And I imagine if I stayed in this for another 5 minutes or so, which is kind of a long time, eventually I might be laying across my leg. So that is the way that we open our body in extension, slowly, purposefully, using the breath as our guide, using alignment as our guide too. Let's finish this one off. Inhale up. And then exhale, place our right foot on the floor. Sit up nice and tall, draw the crown of your head up, draw your heart center up, take a nice inhale. On your exhale, lift up your leg and cross your left ankle over your right knee. So I find this side, I'm way more open. I don't have any involvement of my knee on this side. So when we have discomfort in the knees, when we have our legs externally rotated and bent like this, it's really because the hip isn't as open. And you know what? At our age, at my age, I'm 52, there's going to be something that's not open. So we respect that and we work with it. But I also try not to exploit my more open side. My left side all of my life has been my more open side. My right side has been the more tight side all of my life. So we are trying to bring the body into balance. It's a metaphor for daily living, where we seek balance in all that we do. So inhale, lift up the heart center, lift up the crown, create space for that hip to start to naturally open. Give it the time that it needs, listening to the body. Take a nice inhale. And then when you exhale, you start to hinge at your hips, keeping your shoulder blades on your back, keeping your back in a neutral, straight position as you move forward with your heart center. And again, don't focus on what you're trying to achieve. Don't focus on a certain distance or a certain bend. That's just a number. It doesn't really represent anything of value. Focus on what you feel. Focus on the opening of that left hip. Focus on drawing the heart center forward and feeling good. Focus on finding your edge and not going beyond it into the zone of pain. And something that you should know is that a lot of our lower back pain is connected to, again, this tightness and these muscles all on the outside of the hip. So by doing these seated pigeon poses, one of the things you're doing is you're drawing away from the spine. You're drawing pressure off of those nerves of the lower spine. You're opening up those muscles so that you have greater fluidity and movement in the hips and the lower spine. So this is a little different than when we do forward folds. Forward folds are intended to stretch out the back of the legs and not the lower back. But one of the mistakes that we often make is letting that stretch go into the lower back, thereby increasing risk of injury in the lower spine. So you'll notice how quickly my body fell down through just this process of talking and breathing. Let's inhale, rise up. And then exhale, placing our left hand, our left foot on the block. Ha! Doesn't that feel great? So now we're going to do some fun exercises to strengthen the legs. So initially what I want you to do is interlace your hands underneath your right thigh. Draw your shoulders back onto your back, which automatically lifts up that leg. You're supporting that leg with your hands, but draw your shoulders back while you do it. Don't round them down. Lift up. Flex your foot on your inhale and straighten out your leg. On your exhale, point your toes and bend your knee. Inhale, flex the foot, raising it up. Exhale, point your toes and bend your knee. Inhale, flex the foot, raise up the leg. Exhale, point the toes and bend the knee. Let's do that one more time. Flex the foot, straighten out your leg. Exhale, point your toes and bend your knee. Now, let's do that without using our hands to support us. So you can put your hands anywhere you want, but the hips are a nice place to stick them because, you know, it's got a shelf. So inhale and flex your toes and straighten out your leg. See if you can lift the leg. You can do it on the floor if you want, or you can do it slightly elevated off the floor, but see if you can actually lift your leg to the height of your hip. That strengthens all of the muscles of your quadriceps. Inhale. Exhale, point your toe, bend your knee. Flex your foot, inhale, straighten out the leg. Exhale, point the toes, bend the knee. Sit up nice and tall, don't allow your lower back to round. Flex the toes, inhale, straighten out your legs. Exhale, point the toes and bend your knee. And let's do that one more time. Flex the foot, inhale, straighten out your legs. Exhale, point your toes, bend your knee, replace that leg. Feel the difference. You may have felt that in your gluteus muscles along the outside of the hip and certainly all along the top of your quadriceps. If you felt it in your lower back, check to see that you weren't rounding the back while you were in that pose. Let's do the other side. Interlace our fingers underneath our left leg. Draw our shoulders back and down to lift up that leg. Flex the foot, inhale, straighten out the leg. Exhale, point the toes, bend the leg. Flex the foot, inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, point the toes, bend the leg. Flex the foot, inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, point your toes, and bend the leg. Finally, flex the foot, straighten your leg. Exhale, point the toes, and bend the leg. Go ahead and drop that down. Place your hands on your hips, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side, only this time with a smile on our face. Inhale, lift up the crown of your head. Exhale, keep that length. Flex your foot. Inhale, straighten out your legs. See if you can lift it off the chair. Exhale, point the toes and bend the leg. Flex the foot. Inhale, straighten out your leg. Exhale, point the toes and bend the leg. Flex the toes, inhale, straighten your leg. Exhale, point the toes and bend the leg. Finally, flex the toes, inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, point the toes, bend the leg, replace it down. So let's do one final release of the hips using the breath. Place your hands on the front of the knee, interlocking your fingers. Inhale, draw that knee up to your right shoulder, just creating a nice pinch in the hip. Breathe in and out deeply. Then sit up nice and tall. Hold your leg with your right hand. Place your left hand on your left hip and just draw your knee to the right. So we're just opening up that hip a little bit. And if you want to, you can create little circles to encourage further opening. This is kind of like a passive stretch. You can do your circles backwards or forwards, whatever your choice is as a yogi. Okay, go ahead, bring knee to center line, drop it down, and let's take our hands, interlock them around the front of our left knee, draw that knee up to the shoulder. And then keeping our left hand on the front of our left knee, take our right hand to our hip, draw that left knee out to the side. And then if you want, you can do circles. A passive opening of the hip. And then go ahead, return it to midline, drop it down. And let's move into our final breathing and meditation for the day. So, one of the things you may notice when you're focusing on the breath is that maybe you use the breath to do big movements of the body instead of focusing on micro opening of, say, the shoulders and the neck. We spent a lot of time on the hips today because we were moving the whole body. But when we move the whole body and when we open up the hips, you find if you have tension in your shoulders and your neck, it may be alleviated. So where we're stuck in one part of the body creates a stuck feeling in another part of the body. And the hips are connected to the shoulders, connected to the neck. So I'm hoping that as a result of this routine this morning, that you feel that your whole chest feels better, more expansive, more room for breath. So I invite you to close your eyes, keeping your hands on top of your thighs. Maybe you want to press your shoulders to the back of your chair as if you're in Shavasana. Now, one of the things you can choose to do at the end of a chair yoga routine is lay on the floor And place your legs on top of the chair and do your final relaxation with your legs elevated on the chair. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, drawing the belly in. Inhale. Exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale. Exhale, draw the belly in. Notice the quality of your breath and how it might be different now versus when we started almost an hour ago. And start to scan the body for any places where the breath may not be moving well, where you may still have some tension. And tell those parts of the body it's okay to relax. Inhale, draw your attention to the crown of your head. And release any tension out of the crown. On your next inhale, draw attention to your facial muscles, to your forehead, to your eyelids, to your cheek muscles. And go ahead and tell them to release any tension and to relax deeply. On your next inhale, draw attention to your neck, to your ears, to your shoulders, to your upper chest. Fully relaxing that region of the body. And then on your next inhale, draw attention to your arms. Make them like noodles, holding no position, strength, anything. Just relaxing, allowing the fingers to be soft as they rest on your thigh, allowing the wrist to be soft, holding no tension or strength in the arms whatsoever. Take a nice inhale. And on your exhale, draw attention to the whole middle section of the body, the ribs, the back, the solar plexus muscles, the sideways. And although you have to breathe in and out, try to relax all of those muscles. And then on your next inhale, as you exhale, draw attention to your hips, to where your body meets the chair, to the tops of your thighs, to your lower abdomen. And on your next inhale, draw attention to your thighs, your knees, your calves, and your shins. Can you tell them all to fully relax? And finally, take another inhale. And on your exhale, draw attention to your ankles, your feet, your toes, the arches of your foot. And release any tension you may still be holding on to. A nice metaphor for the rhythmic in and out of our breath is the ocean. So plant yourself at the ocean right now. We're in California. Not too great of a stretch. We can visit the beach anytime we want. And winter beach days to me are every bit as fun as summertime beach days. In the winter, we have the low sun, not quite as intensive sunlight. Still warm compared to other areas, but cool enough that you may be fully dressed in jeans and a sweatshirt. Oftentimes the sand is warm enough that you can just take off your shoes and walk through the sand. Great exercise for the feet. And you're sitting on the beach and you're watching the waves move in and out. And as the waves are pulling out, you inhale. And as they are moving up to the shore and about to crash, you exhale. On the bottom of your exhale, you start to inhale, drawing that wave out. And when it crests, you begin your exhale, bringing that wave up to the shore, crashing on the shore. At the bottom of your breath, inhale and bring that wave out to the ocean. And when that wave crests, begin your exhale, bringing that wave back onto the shore. Inhale, drawing the wave out. And exhale, bring it in, crashing on the beach, foam running up the beach. Take a nice inhale. And exhale. As you sit here, observe your breath, how expansive it is. Your heart rate, has it slowed down? Have you managed to move into a state of deep relaxation, emptying your mind of preoccupying thoughts? Continue to breathe in Shavasana, or this resting pose, for 5 minutes or longer each practice, integrating all the benefits of your practice. I want to thank you for joining me this morning. I invite you to my YouTube channel. Please like it, join my channel. That way you can be notified anytime there's a new video. Look for in January for me to start releasing a series of shorter classes focused on specific parts of our bodies. The light in me sees the light in you. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. Bringing hands to heart center, I say namaste.